Hey guys, welcome to Young Money. I'm Nozipho, and this is CNBC Africa's freshest and youngest show. It's the show about us, the ones who want to build empires, the ones who want to build Madibas. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. Now, coming up on this episode, the Young Money team was out and about catching up with young entrepreneurs at the Eskom Foundation Entrepreneurship Expo. Now, remember, if you want the Young Money crew to come to you, all you need to do is drop us a tweet. The hashtag is YoungMoney410, following me at The Real Nozi, and of course at CNBC Africa. Let's get to breaking the bank. Young Money recently caught up with the young entrepreneurs at the Eskom Foundation Business Entrepreneurship and Franchise Expo and engaged in a panel discussion on the different challenges that young entrepreneurs are faced with. There are many budding entrepreneurs, but not many have the knowledge base to get their innovative balls rolling. This is what Simon Ntsuki, motivational speaker and business owner, argues in the discussion.
The goal is clear. We want young people to be able to have knowledge and skills that they can offer to the economy, and through the offering of that skill or knowledge, they will be able to gain an income, right? It's even clear in the way our parents tell us, right? They say, go to school so you can be somebody.
Right.
Right? So it's clear that what we mean about education, when we talk about education, is an opportunity for independence, an opportunity for earning potential, an opportunity for social mobility. But this is even implicit in the way the national education policy sells education. I saw a quote on the policy itself. It says that one of the goals is enabling the education system to contribute to the full personal development of each learner and to the moral, social, cultural, and economic development of the nation at large. So we want young people to be able to contribute to the economy.
One of the greatest obstacles for startups, yes, you've guessed it, it is funding. Banks are not willing to risk capital on young pioneers with expensive ventures. And Tsepo Pakati, who's also an entrepreneur, says that the state of funding availability needs serious reform.
According to the United States Small Business Administration, the SBA, 93.7% of all businesses in the United States of America are started using household resources. So in other words, they started using that overdraft facility, that excess bond, personal credit cards, personal loans, etc. And this is a very, very important fact, because a lot of the people in South Africa, you do not have very good credit markets. And because of that problem, it disables people from starting businesses. Small businesses struggle purely because they don't have access to good credit facilities. And they could sort of run the whole way if they had access to those facilities. And that is what the problem is, not so much that entrepreneurship is difficult or people are set up for failure.
Over 80% of startups fail, and one of the main characteristics linked to those who succeed is, of course, endurance. Kanti Pai, also an entrepreneur, speaks about his story of persistence.
When I left Varsity, I wanted to start my own business, and it was going to be a great magazine. It was new, it had never been done before. And we went to meet Jane Raffaelli, who had been obviously a leading business person in magazine business. And she said, it's a great idea, but the thing about ideas, the question you have to ask is you and whose money. And really, because you don't have any of your money, some of these things haven't been tested. And the reality about young businesses or any business is that actually banks don't mind giving people money. They actually want to. I've been in banking most of my career, and all it is that the bank is looking. They send people out to find people who they can give money to. But that is about taking risks. So they say to you when you come in, they are looking to see what is the probability of loss. How is this money going to work? Now, if a young person walked in through the door and they said, and this is why franchises work, this is an established business, it's already working, it's got a reputation, there are clients already walking past that area, the bank will give you money. Why they're not giving young people money is because they look at this person and they say, look, I don't know if I'm going to get my money back. Then there's the thing about giving up, and this is exactly for me the main point. We live in a country in which most young people are poor. They come from poor backgrounds. They're expected to carry certain burdens, what people call the black tax. You don't have the luxury and the privilege, I didn't have it, to be able to go out in business for 3 years, struggle, while my parents are paying for my food, for taxi money to, go to different kinds of meetings, to house me, to clothe me, and all of those things. And so the endurance thing, people give up, and it's almost like a shameful thing when you give up, but it actually plays to our social structures. So it isn't a way in which I'm saying to young people, well, because you're going to fail. It's because the system is already built against you.
Simon also adds on to Khanti's thoughts about endurance and how to keep a newly formed business moving onwards and upwards with what he calls momentum money.
To start a business, you don't need a lot of money. You need what I like to call momentum money. You need money to get you by until your first few clients can pay you. And once those few clients can pay you, you can pay the next few clients. You know what I mean?
I also spoke to Simon Ntsuki. He's a young man with a gift for the spoken word, and his words, of course, are focused on youth development, and he's engaged in corporate South Africa to start to think seriously about unlocking young talent within the corporate environment. Let's take a look. And now we're sitting down with one of South Africa's most dynamic motivational speakers, writers and social entrepreneurs. His name is Simon Ntsuki. Simon, lovely to meet you. The youth space and motivational speaking in that particular regard, isn't that a saturated market by now?
I wouldn't know. I've designed, created a niche within the student and youth development market. And so we service corporates in their youth development initiative. So we work on various campaigns like the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Tutuga Development Camp, the Ernst & Young's Next Generation Leadership Program. And so we've created a niche within the young development market.
What are corporates looking for from young people, and in particular because we're in an era where managing millennials is quite different from those born in the 60s and the 70s?
Well, with our clients particularly, they see a challenge, particularly in previously disadvantaged backgrounds, with the development of skills and so on. So for example, the Institute of Chartered Accountants is looking to create a new pool of black chartered accountants within the country. The Next Gen program is looking to create a new pool of young girl leaders within the country. Within my space, basically what our clients are looking to do, so for example, even like the Investec ProMat program that you work on, they're looking to develop the next generation of leaders.
How do you get started? Because I think everybody wants to get into the youth development space. Everybody likes the title of being a social entrepreneur. How did Simon get his foot in the door in corporate SA?
My role, so for example, my story is unique because I attended what they call a Tutuga Development Camp, which is run by the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants. And I had this dream about becoming a chartered accountant. And because I loved the work that I do, when I was in varsity, went to Wits University, I offered some of my services, my speaking services to them, and they were my first client. And we developed the relationship right through varsity. But when I graduated, I just loved the speaking space. So what I did, and this is a very important, a very key way or easy way to grow your business, is identify companies that you can create a mutually beneficial arrangement with and create strategic partnerships. So offer your services to a company that's already doing what you'd like to do, but has the resources. So for me, I chose companies that have the resources and already doing what they'd like to do. And I ask myself all the time, how can I help my clients achieve their objective? Or how can I help them enhance their experience?
Let's talk about the business model for a second. How do you grow from here on? How do you make sure that you're not only hitting your revenue targets, but also you're making the social impact that you're after? Because I know that that's perhaps more important than just the revenue.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of growth avenues. For me right now, what I'm trying to do is get more people in the business so I can do what I love most, which is speaking and writing. And so I'm trying to get more people. I've just hired 2 people, one person full-time and another one part-time, so that I can focus on what I know best, which is creating content which I think the clients can use in their development space. Another key way is finding more partners within government. I mean, one challenge for me has been finding the right government partners to work with. I find that the corporate spaces, I'm easily able to to engage them, but it's harder harder for me to work with government. I actually don't have even one government client.
So there's a view though, Simon, because I think you're leading me to that, which says governments are perhaps responsible for a large percentage of small and medium-sized enterprises that die because of the cash flow problem. How do you respond to that?
Well, for me, I know that a client that doesn't pay, a client that pays late, is a very big problem, because the cash flow of a business keeps the business going. It's liquidity, right? If you have a profitable business that doesn't have cash flow, the business is going to stop, right? Because you can't show me the profit in the bank. But if you have no profit but cash flow, you can be able to move. You're able to move to the next month. But cash flow is very important. I mean, you have to pay your employers. You have to pay your own car, petrol to get to the client. You have to pay your suppliers so you can make more sales. So, I mean, I don't have a great experience. I don't have, enough experience with government. But I can tell you, that if cash flow is a very, very big issue in business.
Final question, SGM Motivations. 5 years from now, we're at the same venue. We're sitting on these couches. What are we going to be talking about?
Africa, the development of Africa. I think we have a lot to do in Africa. We are told that half of the youth workforce in the world globally will be African. And my dream is to, have a greater role in Africa. So your Zimbabwe, Southern Africa, a friend of mine just came back from Kenya and he told me some of the wonderful things that have been happening there. So I think our continent is on the rise and I'd like to be part of it.
Guys, thank you so much for making the time to join us once again. Remember that if you want the Young Money crew to come to you, it's really, really easy. All you need to do is drop us a tweet, use the hashtag YoungMoney410. Tell us about your business. Tell us what you're up to. How are you breaking the bank? How are you building an empire? And we'll make sure that we give you the visibility to knock it out of the ballpark. Until next time, let's keep it rich and let's keep it real.